Hello everyone, just wanted to give you guys a little update on how film analysis and film review videos are going to change going forward. I got a couple of comments on the last few videos about asking for a grading scale for these videos, and I thought, why not? I don't think that they're too important. You don't have to take them too seriously, but it's something interesting to talk about. It gives an interesting dimension about the analysis or the review, so I thought, why not? And if I don't like it, I can just discontinue it. But I thought we could just give it a shot. And so I have sort of come up with my own personal grading scale that we'll work with on these film analysis videos / film review videos. And it's going to be a pretty traditional A through F scale. And so I'll give you guys a quick little rundown about my grades and use the previous videos that I've analyzed and reviewed to give you a reference for where I think each grade is, basically. And if you go back to any of my previous videos, if you look in the comments or the description, I will put what the grade I will be retroactively giving that film. So obviously we'll start with F. F are films that are basically just unwatchable. There's really no redeeming qualities to them. Obviously just the worst type of films, and honestly somewhat the worst type of film might be just the fact that it is the most boring film of all time, not even the fact that they did anything particularly wrong. F will be the only one that doesn't get plus or minuses, just because I think it's just a lump all just F. Then the next step up will be Ds. Ds are films that have a couple of interesting little things about them, but for the most part are just not good films to watch as well. I'll have a gradation with this one with D+, D, and D-. Obviously D+ being the best, D- being the worst. A film that I've reviewed that would fall into this category would be The Watchers. I'd give that one just a straight up D. It is just not a good movie. There's a lot of things wrong with it. Just obviously, I've made a whole video about why I didn't like the movie, and so I would say that one is a D. Next, we're going to get up to the C range, C+, C, and C-. This is kind of where I hope, if you just walk into any movie theater ever, this is probably where you're most likely going to find the film to be. I want this to kind of be any movie ever. This is probably where the average is going to be. So something like a C- would be Oppenheimer or Longlegs. These are films that have a little something to them, but personally I feel like that they lost a lot in the fact that they just were unfulfilled, basically. Just they didn't fully execute on the idea of the film very well. C's are films that do things relatively well. I would call this a serviceable movie, but still it's not a perfect movie by any stretch of the imagination. This is where I would find films like AI Artificial Intelligence, Late Night with the Devil, or The Bike Riders. And then we're going to have C+. C+ are a little bit better than serviceable films. These are films I would consider like The Mask, Kinds of Kindness, Smiling Friends. Films that are overall, I would say, generally positive, but not too positive, obviously. I would say that it's good, but not anything crazy. Next, we get to the B range. B are where I would consider very good and great films. Films that accomplish what it is that they're trying to do with the movie very, very well. And because, obviously, I do a lot of analyses of films of the past, this is probably where you're going to find most of my film analyses to be. Just the average, I guess, just because looking back, I'm probably only going to look at what I would consider to be good or great films, not just average films. So we've got B-, where we've got Sorry to Bother You, Killing Them Softly, Challengers, and Furiosa. This is obviously, I would say, one small little tier below a great film. Still very, very good, but not like I wouldn't call them great. Then next we get the just flat out great films, but nothing super crazy about them. This is where we get Videodrome, Uncut Gems, A Fistful of Dollars, The Big Lebowski, Akira, and Fallout. Great movies, love them, they're amazing, no complaints about them. And next we will get to B+. B+ are films I would say are not just great, they are on the cusp of greatness. Films that are close to being one of the best films ever made. B+ films in my mind are Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, and The Lighthouse. And then finally, we will be getting to A's. A's are films that are the greatest films ever made. This is a god tier, I guess is one way to describe it. For A-, you get things like Koyaanisqatsi, Full Metal Jacket, films that not only are good films to watch, but have such a strong message and are so indicative of our society. And then we get A films. These are obviously just the pinnacle of storytelling. The influence on filmmaking in general is also just incredibly high. These are the gold standard, your top films of all time lists, basically. And so far as I've reviewed and analyzed, I would only really put Dune and Dune Part 2 on here. Then we have A+, and I'm going to leave A+ blank. I'm going to say that I have not seen or heard of what I would consider to be an A+ film. Sort of gives the art of filmmaking room for growth, basically. Maybe there's a film I haven't seen yet, or maybe a new film eventually comes out that is so great that it occupies the A+ slot. But to this point, I have not seen an A+ film or heard of an A+ film in my personal grading scale. So thanks for listening to me explain my dumb grading scale to you guys. We'll see how it goes. You don't have to take it too seriously, because I'm definitely not going to take it too seriously. Thanks for watching my channel. It means a lot. If you guys aren't subscribed yet, it would be great if you could subscribe, like the channel, consider supporting me on Patreon. It goes a long way to helping me make more of these videos. Thanks.